One of the most striking visual elements from this event's design are its gradients. From the operator previews, banner promotion, medal set, and the event stage backgrounds, gradients make up a large portion of how the colors of this event are presented. But where can we find the influence of these gradients in Japanese artworks? Perhaps the answer may lie in one of Japan's classic artworks, ukiyo-e. Ukiyo-e is an art form that emerged during the 17th century with its roots from traditional Japanese painters. Ukiyo can be translated as floating world, describing what the artist sought to capture with their ukiyo-e works. Japan at this time was in the Edo period, where distinct social classes divided the population. And at the bottom was the chonin class, comprised of merchants, craftsmen, and workers. Despite lacking political influence within their society, the prosperity from the rapidly expanding economy of the Edo period translated down to the chonin class, enabling them to partake in leisure activities, including collecting art. What sets ukiyo-e apart from more traditional paintings is its notable utilization of woodblock printing, a response to the increased demand for it by a growing consumer base. Ukiyo-e prints would often depict scenes that would resonate with the chonin class. Prints that featured beautiful women or a depiction of everyday life reflected the lifestyle that the chonin class indulged in with their newfound wealth. One interesting note about the production of ukiyo-e artwork is how the labor in producing ukiyo-e prints would be divided amongst a group of artisans rather than just a singular artist. You would have an artist who designs the overall artwork, a carver who creates the woodblocks, the printer who applied the ink onto the woodblock and printing on the paper, and a publisher who handled the finances, promotion, and distribution of the artwork. The workflow of ukiyo-e feels much more akin to the production techniques of graphic design, rather than your typical image of a singular artist who handles everything with their artwork. It was truly a consumer good. The mid-18th century would see color becoming a standard for most ukiyo-e prints rather than being added on a per-request basis, bringing more possibilities to the expression of ukiyo-e. One of these was with the inclusion of gradients, termed bokashi, within ukiyo-e prints. Bokashi techniques would most notably be utilized within the landscape prints of ukiyo-e. The tempo reforms of the mid-19th century cracked down on explicit depictions of luxury, such as those featuring courtesans and actors. Thus, many ukiyo-e artists switched over to scenes highlighting the natural landscape of Japan. Artworks, such as Hiroshige's 100 Famous Views of Edo, and Hokusai's famous Great Wave off Kanagawa, demonstrate the beauty captured by bokashi. It is also through these landscape paintings that ukiyo-e would be most well known outside of Japan for. The opening of Japan to international trade, particularly with Europe and the United States, allowed Japanese art to be spread across the Western audience. Westerners became fascinated with ukiyo-e, and soon ukiyo-e prints became a massive export to Western collectors. Traditional ukiyo-e would see a decline following the beginning of the Meiji Restoration. However, as the Meiji government wanted to promote travel within Japan, and with international demand still high, ukiyo-e would take on influences from Western art styles such as with lighting techniques, and form the Shinhanga or New Prints movement, producing beautiful artworks that enjoyed immense success overseas, fueling the romanticized view of Japan by Westerners. Hiroshi Yoshida would become one of the most prominent artists of Shinhanga, notable for the wide variety of subject matters he would depict. His works are absolutely stunning, perfectly showcasing the beautiful softness of the gradients, along with the graininess from the texture of the physical medium. His Inland Sea collection that features a sailing boat depicted in different lighting conditions are some of my favorites. And so it's no wonder why Atto utilizes these gradients with a slight grain all throughout this event. It harkens back to one of Japan's oldest graphic design traditions, one that is seemingly steeped in so much tradition, yet also was a pioneer in the production of mass media and enabling the democratization of fine art.